Hi guys, this is Siri and today we're going to be talking about some more data types. These aren't the fundamental data types, but I'm going to be talking about the range data type. I'm going to be talking about sets, Frozensets, dictionaries, and finally we're going to be talking about the none data type. So why don't we start with the range first. Okay, so range data type. Okay. Alrighty, so there are two ways that you can represent the range data type. But to give you an overview of what a range actually is, it just represents a sequence of numbers, and it is immutable. Okay. Alrighty, it's immutable, and I talked about the concept of immutability in another video. Feel free to check that out. Okay, so that's what range represents. Okay, and I said that there were two ways to represent a range. There are two ways. The first one is just saying something like range 10. Okay, and if we wanted to, so for I in range, so for every value in the range, we're going to print that value. And it represents what? It represents a sequence of numbers. And you get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And alrighty, so this range 10 represents, okay, so this is going to generate numbers from 0 to 9. Okay, so you see the number that you provided here. The last number is going to be the number you provide minus 1. Okay. Alright, and the end is going to equal number provided minus 1. Okay, so you see here we provided in 10, but we didn't get 10, we got 9, which is 10 minus 1. So this is going to start with 0 and go to the end, provided value minus 1. Okay, so that's the first form. And when you see, okay, let's just assign it to a variable. Let's just say r equals range. I want it to go to 20, so why don't we say 21? And let's comment this out for a second. For I in r, print I, you get 20, you see here. Alright, so. And if you want to see the type of R, you're going to get range. You see here? Okay, so that was the first form. Let's talk about the other way of defining a variable that holds the data type of a range. Okay, so form 2. Okay, let's just say R equals range, and we're providing two values, okay, 3, 8. Okay, for I in R, print I. You start at 3 and you go to 7. Okay, what is 7? 7 is just 8 minus 1, and we talked about it in the first form as well. And so this is going to be like range. It's going to take the form of range and then accepting two values, two numbers. You see 10, 20. Okay, this generates numbers from 10. You see here, and then the last value minus 1, which is 19. Okay. Now, if you wanted it to go to 20, then you would have had to provide 21 as the last value. Alrighty. So I think that's it for the range data type. So now let's talk about. Oh, actually, there's another form we can do. Okay, form 3. There's another way you can define a variable that has the value of a range data type. Okay, so you can provide 3 values this time. Okay, and I think I talked about slicing in one video, and the last value was like skipping by a certain number or by increments of a certain number. So you can do the same with the range. So if you say that R equals range 4, 12, 3. Okay, this starts at 12, goes to 11. Okay, and minus 1, 12 minus 1. And then you're going to do it by increments of 3. Okay, so for I in R, so for every value in R, and R is a range, which is a sequence of numbers, we're going to print I, and you get 4 plus 3, 7, plus 3, 10, and if you do 10 plus 3, you get 13, but is 13 here? No, it's not within that range. Okay, so that's that. And you can also access elements in the range data type by using an index. So if you say that W equals range 10, 20, okay, 10 to 20, and you do W and you get the 0, the value at index 0, you're gonna get here. Okay, so spelled that wrong. Okay, so you get 10. Okay, it's because if you say for I and W, right, and you want to print the value, okay, let's comment that out for a second. What's the first value? Okay, it starts at, the indexing starts at 0, right? So the first element is going to be 10, and now when you comment that out, and we'll see the value at index 0, you're going to get 10. Okay, so that's that. So you can also create a list with elements from a range data type. So when you want to say L equals list range 20 to 35, okay, and you print L, you get a list of the values that are stored in range 20, 35. So it's a sequence of numbers, so you're going to get 20, 21, 22, 23, all the way up till 35 or 34. Well, it's going to be 34 because you do the end minus 1. Okay, so that's why, and you convert that to a list. I made a video on typecasting, and it explains what these functions do. It just converts this range to a list. Okay, and that's why you get a list when you print L. Okay, so I think I've said what I need to say about the range data type. Now let's go on to sets. Okay, sets are pretty important in Python. If you want to represent values, number 1, without duplicates. Now you see in a list, there are duplicates allowed, but sets you don't have duplicates. The order is not preserved. Okay. Again, a list's order is preserved, set order is not preserved. Heterogeneous objects are allowed. Okay. The index concept is not applicable. So indexing doesn't work. Sets. It's mutable. And it's growable in nature, which just means you can add things to it, and I think that falls under immutable. Okay, so alright, so let's define a set here. Okay, say let the name of our variable be s equals, okay, so you use curly braces here to define a set. Okay, 100, comma 0, comma false, because heterogeneous objects are allowed. None is a data type. We'll talk more about that today. Add a string in there, apple, and a race car. Okay, and when you see the type of s, you get a set. Okay, if you want to add elements, what do? The name of the variable dot add, and you see what you want to add, say what you want to add. Now remember, in a list you do dot append, in a set you do dot add. Okay, and now you print s, display to the screen, you get 60. Okay. Okay, so what order did we define the set in? We said it was 100, comma 0, comma false, comma none, comma apple, comma race car. Okay, this is the order we defined it in. What did we get it? How did we get it back? We got 0, apple, 100, race car, none, and 60. 0 is first, whereas here 0 is second. Apple is second, whereas here, like, apple is, I don't know, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's at the fourth index. Okay. None is second to last, or it's last, actually, if we hadn't added 60 to the set. Okay, so you see here that order is not preserved, and this is why indexing doesn't work with sets, because here the index value of false was 2, but here where did false go? Oh, okay, so I see what's going on here. You see that false is stored as 0 in Python? Yeah, do you see that? Now, so false is stored as 0, okay? But we already have a 0 here. So that's why we don't get 2 zeros. We don't get 2 zeros because we don't have duplicates in sets. Okay? So that's why you don't get false. Okay? So that's what's going on there. And if you want to remove elements from a set, you do s.remove. Let's say I want to remove none. Okay, now let's print s. So none is gone here, you see that? Alrighty. So why don't we remove apple and see what goes on. So I think if you remove it multiple times, see, I ran it multiple times, and when you remove it multiple times, you're assuming that it's already there, but we already removed it. So that's why we get a key error here. So now let's talk about the frozen set. It's pretty much the same thing as a set, except it's immutable. Okay, so we say S equals 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's a set. And now we do FS equals frozen set, takes an set, takes an S, and now we print the type of FS. We get a frozen set. Okay. So for I in FS, we're gonna print I, and we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, since these are immutable, you can't add or remove things, just like you did here with the set. So if you try to do fs.add, and you want to add like 70, you're going to get an attribute error because the frozen set has no attribute add. Okay, you can't add things or remove them, as a matter of fact. So if you try to do fs.remove, you have a 3 in there, so let's remove that 3. It doesn't work because you get an attribute error and it says it has no attribute called remove. Okay. So I think that's it for frozen sets. Let's talk about dictionaries. Dictionaries are very popular in Python. They're very useful, and they're used to represent key value pairs. Okay. So let's give you an example. Let's say that the variable d equals, okay, so you also use curly braces for dictionaries. Number 1. So the first student by alphabetical order is Allie. Second student by alphabetical order is Bob. Third is Carter. And fourth is Diana. Okay? And we print the type of D. We get a dict or a dictionary. Okay? And dictionaries are mutable, but the order isn't preserved. So mutable, but order not preserved. Okay? And you don't access dictionary by the index, you access it by the key. So the format is going to be something like this, like the name of dictionary. We're going to do brackets, square brackets, and we're going to do the name of, we're going to do the key. So let's say, okay, key. Let's do an example here. So we want to, so the name of the dictionary is D, I want to access what number Bob comes in the alphabet. So we're gonna do Bob and oh, sorry. So this is the key. My bad. 1 is a key, 2 is a key, 3 is a key. The key always comes first and the value comes next, so it's a key value pair. So who is number 2 on the list? You get Bob. Okay, so that's how it works. You can also create empty dictionaries. So if you want to create favorite fruits, empty dictionary, and the type of favorite fruits, you get dictionary. And the reason you don't get sets is because sets are a lot more dictionaries are a lot more common than sets, so that's why the default value is going to be, the default data type is going to be a dictionary. So that's why it's not an empty set, it's an empty dictionary. Okay? And you can also add key value pairs like this. So the name of the dictionary, which is fav fruits, and let's add Sally to the list. And let's say that her favorite fruit is kiwi. Okay. And let's say that Molly's favorite fruit is a strawberry. Okay, and now when you print fav fruits, you're going to get Sally and Molly in the list. And Sally likes kiwis, and Molly likes strawberries. Okay, so when you want to associate two values together, like a key and a value, you know, like how in a dictionary, like a real dictionary, you get the word and a definition. So similarly in Python, you get dictionaries, except you have keys and you have values. Sally likes kiwi, and Molly likes strawberries. Okay, so that's the bare bones of dictionaries in Python for you. I'll make another video on dictionaries. There's a lot more you can do. A lot more functions, like to access all the keys, access all the values. Okay, I'm gonna make another video on dictionaries, but for now, here's what you need to know. Okay. Now, last but not least, let's talk about the none data type. Okay, and none is basically where no value is associated. Okay, so like when you don't have any value yet, but you just don't know yet. So for example, if I want to define a function, a and a equals 10. Okay, it doesn't return anything. Okay, which is why there's going to be no value when you print a. You get none. Okay, and also when you like say future job. Okay, I don't know what I'm going to be yet. Let's just keep that none for now. Okay, I don't know. I'll assign it a value later. Okay. So no value associated. That's what the none data type is for. Okay, so today we talked about a range. We talked about sets. We talked about Frozensets. We talked about dictionaries, and last but not least, we talked about the none data type. Okay. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you learned something new, and stay curious.